Stop for a second, because something unusual is already moving in your direction, and if you leave too quickly, you may miss the exact moment your future begins to change. There is a reason your mind feels restless lately. A reason certain dreams keep repeating. A reason your name has been appearing in places where it should not even exist yet. You thought it was coincidence. But what if the world is quietly preparing itself to recognize you before you even recognize yourself? Listen carefully. Not everyone is meant to remain hidden forever. Some people are born for ordinary paths, silent routines, predictable endings. But you were never designed to disappear into the background. There is something attached to your energy that refuses to stay unnoticed. And somewhere, at this very moment, someone is recording something connected to you. Not because they were forced to. Not because they planned it for years. Because your presence left a mark they could not ignore. Think about that. How many times have you walked away from a moment believing it meant nothing, while another person carried that same moment home inside their thoughts? You never saw the impact. But impact does not need permission to exist. And this is where your story begins shifting. Because the truth is, your name is closer to being known than you realize. No, not in the shallow way people chase attention. This is different. This feels larger. Heavier. Almost futuristic. Like a signal being transmitted before the arrival itself. Pause here for a moment and ask yourself something honestly. Why have you been feeling pulled toward change recently? Why does it feel like your old identity no longer fits the version of yourself trying to emerge? Because the world cannot meet the next version of you while you continue hiding inside the old one. That is why certain people suddenly disappeared. That is why some connections became distant. That is why your spirit has felt caught between confusion and anticipation. You are not falling apart. You are being repositioned. And someone, somewhere, has already noticed it. There is a voice speaking your name in rooms you have never entered. A conversation unfolding without your awareness. A recording. A mention. A memory. A clip. A message. Small now. But not for long. The strange part? The people involved do not even fully understand why they feel drawn toward your energy. They only know something about you feels unforgettable. You carry a frequency that lingers after you leave. That is rare. Very rare. Most people spend their entire lives trying to be seen. But you are entering a season where visibility begins chasing you. And I know, part of you doubts this. Part of you still remembers every rejection. Every delay. Every night you questioned your own value. You remember the silence. The waiting. The feeling of being overlooked while others moved ahead. But what if those delays were never punishment? What if life was buying time for the right moment to arrive? Because recognition before preparation can destroy a person. And deep down, you were being prepared for something bigger than attention. You were being prepared for influence. There is a difference. Attention fades. Influence echoes. And your name, your energy, your story, is beginning to echo further than you can currently see. Stay with this message a little longer because the next part matters more than you think. The world changes strangely before a breakthrough arrives. People begin remembering you suddenly. Old conversations resurface. Unexpected opportunities appear from nowhere. Even strangers start responding differently to your presence. At first, it feels subtle. Then undeniable. And once it begins, it becomes impossible to reverse. You are approaching that threshold now. That invisible line between anonymity and recognition. But hear this carefully. The reason your name will spread is not because you became someone fake. It is because you finally stopped shrinking the real version of yourself. That is the secret nobody told you. The world notices authenticity more deeply than performance. And somewhere ahead, very soon, someone will capture proof of who you truly are in a moment you never expected to matter. A recording. A memory. A statement. Something real. And from that moment forward, your name will no longer move quietly through this world. But do not rush ahead yet. Because what happens next, and who is connected to this recording, changes everything. Look closely at the timing of your life right now, because what once felt random is beginning to arrange itself with almost impossible precision. You may not fully see it yet. But the atmosphere around your future has changed. Something is accelerating behind the scenes. And the strange part is, the people around you can feel it too, even if they cannot explain why your presence suddenly feels different. Have you noticed the shift? The subtle stares. The unexpected messages. The moments where someone remembers your exact words long after the conversation ended. These are not ordinary signals. They are evidence. Evidence that your energy is beginning to leave traces in places you never intended. And somewhere in the middle of all this, a recording is being connected to your name. Not necessarily in a dramatic way. Not at first. That is what makes it powerful. The biggest moments rarely announce themselves loudly in the beginning. They arrive quietly. A voice clip. A video. A conversation captured unexpectedly. A story someone tells about you. A moment where your honesty, your talent, your presence, or even your silence affects someone so deeply that they feel compelled to preserve it. Because some moments are too meaningful to let disappear. And without realizing it, your existence is creating one of those moments now. What if the thing that changes your life is not something you planned, but something genuine? Think about that carefully. You spent so much time believing success had to look perfect, controlled, strategic. But the universe often introduces people to the world through raw authenticity instead. One real moment can travel further than years of performance. That is why your path has felt emotionally intense lately. Life has been stripping away the version of you that tried too hard to fit expectations. Because the world is not waiting for your mask. It is waiting for the truth underneath it. And the moment that truth becomes visible, people will begin repeating your name in places you never imagined. Not because you begged for recognition. Because recognition found something undeniable inside you. Wait before you scroll away, because this next realization matters deeply. The recording connected to you is not important only because it exists. It matters because of how people feel after experiencing it. That is the difference. Some names become known for noise. Others become unforgettable because they awaken emotion. Your story belongs to the second category. People are going to feel something when they encounter your energy. Hope. Curiosity. Inspiration. Comfort. Motivation. A strange sense that they have encountered someone rare. And that feeling spreads faster than anything else in this world. Faster than trends. Faster than algorithms. Faster than planned attention. Emotion travels where logic cannot. That is why your future visibility feels almost destined. You are not forcing your way into the world. The world is beginning to open space for you naturally. Even now, there are people discussing your potential while you still question yourself privately. Imagine that. While you sit there wondering if you are enough. Someone else already sees greatness forming inside you. And soon, they will not keep that realization to themselves. They will speak. They will share. They will replay the moment connected to your name again and again because something about it feels important. Memorable. Alive. Before this message continues, if these words are reaching you at the exact moment you needed them, leave a comment below with the word "ready." Not for me. For yourself. Because sometimes declaring readiness is the first step toward becoming visible to the life waiting for you. And if this feeling in your spirit continues growing stronger, stay connected to this journey and subscribe, because what is unfolding around your future has only begun revealing itself. Now listen carefully. There is another reason your name is preparing to travel further than expected. You survived seasons that were supposed to silence you. Most people never understand how powerful survival becomes when combined with purpose. But your struggles created depth. Your loneliness created awareness. Your disappointments created vision. Everything you thought was breaking you was secretly building a voice the world would eventually recognize. And soon, very soon, one unexpected moment will begin connecting all the pieces together. A moment involving another person. A moment preserved somehow. A moment that carries your energy far beyond the limits of your current reality. When that happens, your life will divide into two chapters. The chapter before people knew your name. And the chapter after they could no longer forget it. But the final piece of this story has not been revealed yet. Because the identity of the person connected to this recording changes the meaning of everything you have heard so far. Something unusual is happening already. And the people closest to you may sense it before you do. The atmosphere around your destiny has become louder. Not with noise. With momentum. Invisible momentum. The kind that quietly rearranges meetings, conversations, opportunities, and timing until one moment suddenly changes everything. And that moment is closer than you think. Because the person connected to this recording is not random. That is the part nobody warned you about. This individual crossed your path for a reason that extends far beyond coincidence. At first, they may have seemed ordinary. Just another face. Another conversation. Another passing connection. But something shifted the moment they encountered your energy. They began paying attention differently. Watching more closely. Remembering details other people ignore. The way you speak when you become passionate. The way your eyes change when you talk about your dreams. Even your silence carried something unforgettable to them. And without fully realizing it, they captured a moment linked to your future. A moment that will travel farther than either of you expected. Do you understand how rare that is? Most people spend years trying to convince the world they matter. Yet there are certain souls whose authenticity creates impact naturally. You are entering that category now. Not because you became perfect. Because you became real. And real energy cannot stay hidden forever. There is something else you need to hear before this story reaches its turning point. The reason your name is preparing to spread is not only about success. It is about timing. The world is entering a season where people crave sincerity more than performance. They are exhausted by empty appearances. They want something human. Something alive. Something honest. And when your energy appears in front of them through this unexpected recording, it will feel refreshing in a way they cannot explain. People will replay it, share it, talk about it late at night. Not because it was designed to go viral, but because truth carries its own gravity. Pause for a moment and imagine this carefully. What if the very thing you once felt insecure about becomes the reason people remember you? Your voice. Your story. Your vulnerability. Your perspective. The part of yourself you almost hid from the world. That is often how destiny works. It transforms what you tried to minimize into the very thing that makes you unforgettable. And suddenly, people who never noticed you before begin speaking your name with curiosity. Then admiration. Then respect. Slowly at first. Then everywhere. You feel it approaching already, don't you? That strange sensation that your current life is too small for what is coming next. Like your spirit already knows change is nearby even when your physical reality has not caught up yet. That feeling is not illusion. It is preparation. Your future has been sending signals ahead of itself. And now the signals are becoming impossible to ignore. But listen carefully, because this is where the story becomes emotional. The person connected to this recording does not fully understand the role they are about to play in your life. They may think they are simply sharing a moment, preserving a memory, capturing something meaningful. But in reality, they are opening a door. A door that leads your name into places it has never been before. New audiences. New opportunities. New connections. A completely different chapter. And once that door opens, there is no returning to the smaller version of yourself. That chapter is ending now. You were never meant to remain unseen forever. Every setback you survived was strengthening your ability to carry what is coming. Because visibility changes people. Recognition changes people. But your journey taught you humility before influence arrived. That is why your rise will feel different. Grounded. Human. Real. The world notices those qualities more deeply than you realize. And somewhere tonight, while you are listening to these words, someone may already be speaking about you without your knowledge. Someone may already be replaying a moment connected to your energy. Someone may already feel that your name belongs to something larger than ordinary life. That is the beginning, not the end. So when life suddenly accelerates, when unexpected attention appears, when your name begins reaching places you never imagined, do not panic. Do not shrink. Do not convince yourself it was luck. You earned your transformation through every silent battle nobody saw. And the recording connected to your destiny? It is only the first signal. Because what comes after the world finally notices your name is even bigger than the recognition itself. There is a final truth you have not fully realized yet, and once it reaches your heart, the way you see yourself will never be the same again. The world is not simply preparing to notice your name. It is preparing to remember how you made people feel. That is the difference between temporary attention and lasting impact. One disappears in days. The other becomes part of people's lives. And your energy carries the second kind. Look back at everything you survived. The moments where nobody clapped for you. The seasons where you questioned your own worth in silence. The nights where your future looked uncertain and your dreams felt too far away to touch. You thought those moments were empty. But they were shaping your voice. Shaping your perspective. Shaping the emotional depth people are about to recognize inside you. Because the truth is, people can sense when someone has genuinely lived through struggle without allowing it to harden their heart. That presence feels rare now. And rare things spread quickly once the world discovers them. That is why your story is beginning to move beyond your control. The recording tied to your name was never meant to stay hidden forever. It carries a feeling people cannot easily explain. Some will watch it and suddenly feel motivated again. Some will hear your words and feel understood for the first time in years. Others will simply stare quietly afterward, wondering why your energy affected them so deeply. That is influence. Pure influence. And unlike forced attention, influence continues expanding long after the original moment passes. Stay here for this next part. Because this may be the line you remember long after today ends. Your future is not asking you to become someone else. It is asking you to stop doubting the person you already are. For too long, you measured yourself through delays. Through comparison. Through the opinions of people who never truly understood your vision. But the chapter ahead will force you to see yourself differently. Because when your name begins reaching unexpected places, when strangers begin repeating your words, when opportunities arrive from directions you never predicted, you will finally understand something important. The world had been watching your growth long before you noticed it yourself. And yes, there will be moments where the attention feels overwhelming. Moments where you wonder if your life is changing too quickly. But remember this carefully. You are not being pushed into visibility by accident. You are being called into it because your presence carries value. There are people you are meant to inspire simply by existing honestly. That is why your authenticity matters more than perfection ever could. Before this message reaches its final turn, do something simple with me. If a part of you feels this shift already happening, if your intuition keeps whispering that your life is approaching something bigger, leave a comment below saying, "I'm ready to be seen." Not as performance. Not as ego. As acceptance. And if these messages continue awakening something powerful inside you, subscribe and stay connected, because the journey unfolding around your future is only becoming clearer from here. Now listen closely. The recording connected to your destiny will not only introduce your name to more people. It will introduce you to yourself. That is the hidden meaning behind everything happening. The attention. The recognition. The momentum. It is all leading toward one realization. You were never ordinary. You simply spent too much time surrounded by environments too small to recognize your potential. But that limitation is ending now. New spaces are opening. New people are entering. New conversations are beginning. And somewhere ahead, a moment is waiting where you will pause quietly and realize. This is the life I once prayed for in silence. Imagine how powerful that moment will feel. The same person who once doubted themselves, now becoming proof that hidden seasons eventually bloom into visible destinies. And when your name finally begins moving across the world the way these words promised, remember to stay grounded in the version of yourself that existed before recognition arrived. Because fame without purpose fades quickly. But purpose attached to influence changes lives. That is the path unfolding before you now. Not random success. Not temporary noise. Something meaningful. Something lasting. Something that began long before the world learned your name, and will continue long after they never forget it. And now, you are standing at the edge of the moment everything begins to feel real. Not imagined. Not hoped for. Real. Because the signs around your life are no longer small enough to ignore. The unusual timing. The sudden connections. The feeling that people are listening more carefully when you speak. Even the silence around you feels different now. As if life itself is holding its breath before revealing what comes next. This is not the beginning anymore. This is the unfolding. There is a version of your future already moving toward you with incredible speed, and the strange part is, it has been searching for you longer than you realize. You thought you were chasing destiny. But destiny has been tracing your footsteps too. That is why certain doors refuse to open earlier. That is why some plans collapsed unexpectedly. Because your path was never designed to stop in small places. You were being redirected towards something larger. And now the redirection is almost complete. Listen carefully to this next truth because it may explain everything you have been feeling lately. Your energy has become impossible to contain quietly. People sense possibility around you. Even strangers can feel it. That is why your presence has started affecting rooms differently. You walk into spaces now and people notice. Not always openly. Sometimes it is subtle. A longer glance. A delayed response. An unexpected curiosity about your story. Because deep inside, people recognize when someone is carrying the atmosphere of transformation. And you are carrying it now more than ever before. The recording connected to your future continues moving further than expected. More people are seeing it. More conversations are beginning because of it. And the most fascinating part? Many of those people feel emotionally connected to you before they ever meet you personally. That is rare influence. The kind built through sincerity instead of performance. And sincerity travels far in a world exhausted by artificial things. Stay here a little longer, because the next realization changes the entire meaning of this journey. The reason your name is preparing to spread across the world is not simply for recognition. It is because your story gives other people permission to believe in themselves again. Think about that carefully. Your survival became someone else's motivation. Your honesty became someone else's courage. Your voice became proof that authenticity still matters. You never planned for that to happen. But impact often grows naturally from people who stay true to themselves during difficult seasons. That is exactly why your rise will feel emotional instead of empty. You are not building attention. You are building connection. And connection lasts longer than trends ever will. One day soon, you will sit quietly after seeing your name appear somewhere unexpected. And your mind will travel backward through every painful moment you almost gave up. You will remember the loneliness, the uncertainty, the moments nobody believed in your vision. And suddenly you will realize something astonishing. Every hidden season was preparing you emotionally for the visibility now entering your life. Because recognition without inner strength destroys many people. But your struggles created strength first. That is why your future feels stable instead of chaotic. Grounded instead of reckless. Meaningful instead of temporary. And the people discovering your name will feel that difference immediately. Before this message ends, hear this part with your full attention. Do not become afraid of your own expansion. Do not shrink yourself to keep others comfortable. Do not pretend to be smaller than your destiny simply because visibility feels unfamiliar. You were not created to remain hidden forever. The world needed time to catch up to your energy. That is all. And now it is catching up faster than ever. The recording tied to your name was only the signal. The first ripple. The first indication that your life was entering a new reality. But what comes next is even bigger than being known. Because once your name begins reaching millions of minds, your purpose begins reaching millions of hearts. And that is the moment your life transforms from personal success into something unforgettable. So when the attention arrives, when opportunities multiply, when your story starts traveling farther than you ever imagined, remember this final truth. You did not become powerful the day the world recognized your name. You became powerful the day you continued believing in your future while nobody else could yet see it. That invisible faith changed everything. And soon, the entire world will witness what was quietly growing inside you all along.